What is going on, everyone? It's your guy Cole Jackson back here on Road Graders, coming to you on Tuesday. That means it's O-line day. We're going to be diving into the pass protection issues that the Baltimore Ravens had, allowing pressure on 45% of Lamar Jackson's dropbacks. Obviously, some of those will be non-O-line related, but that was the overall pressure rate. So I want to go through some of the key factors, really starting with the sprint outs. We're not letting these get away. These plays were driving everybody nuts. So we're going to take a look at the sprint outs, why I hate them, why everybody hates them. We're also going to take a look at Daniel Faalele, who really struggled in this game, and then also look at the offensive tackles, who continue to struggle with Myles Garrett and the Cleveland Browns offensive tackles. So let's get into it, starting with the sprint outs. So sprint outs, we'll kind of start with my thoughts more broadly. First off, they cut the field in half. So as we're going to sprint out to our right here, it becomes very difficult to turn back into your left. If you look at the formation, they got DeAndre Hopkins on the left side over here. Over on this side, he would be soloed over there. They have Derrick Henry in here who's going to block. They have Charlie Kolar who's going to block. And then out on the right side, they have Zay Flowers and another receiver. I think it's Tylan Wallace. So basically, this becomes a two-route option. So as Lamar Jackson is going to take this and begin to sprint out, O-line goes with them. He has a two-route read right here. And, Zay Flowers is basically just running a little hook. We basically have a small comeback route out to the right. And so basically what they're trying to do is get against zone coverage here, where Zay's going to come back and they're going to find this little soft spot. This corner is going to kind of play that red 2 off man, and he's going to just sit in here. Lamar's going to thread that needle. So if that's not open, Lamar looks to come back. And this is also on Lamar. He comes back to basically try and see if he can get DeAndre, see if he can scramble. It's really Lamar being a playmaker, and it's what makes him so great. But you get into problems here where, we're asking Derrick Henry on the backside to block Myles Garrett, which is not a great idea. And so as that fails, he's left unblocked to just basically tackle Lamar Jackson for the sack. So overall, I just hate sprint outs. But as that rollout happens, it's only a two-route read. You gotta ground that ball because you can't see what's happening on the backside, and the offensive line can as well. And that's what's going to happen on this play. So as the offensive line begins to sprint out, this is again on third down, you get Myles Garrett here unblocked, and that's just not what we want. And this is also one of the fundamental flaws with this play is Roger Rosengarten doesn't get over here wide enough. He needs to get that outside shoulder, or sorry, I got it wrong here. Sorry. Daniel Faalele needs to get wider here and get into this outside shoulder so that Tyler Linderbaum can overtake. So get my tool up here. So he needs to get over there so Tyler Linderbaum can overtake. He doesn't get there, and you see 94 get free. Roger Rosengarten loses his leverage. So you basically end up with two Browns getting at Lamar, and you have three Ravens here having a little group huddle. And then you got Ronnie blocking Myles on the backside, and just a tough block because of your sprint out. Lamar tries to improvise again, sacked by Myles Garrett. So two of Myles Garrett's sacks coming off those sprint outs. I hate them philosophically. They don't work. I think we had a touchdown off one earlier in this year. But I'm going to ignore that. They don't work. Burn it. So now we're going to take a look at Daniel Faalele because I really thought he struggled in this game. The Browns do this better than anyone. You can see in this pre-snap alignment, they get you wide. The Eagles do this as well. So they're going to line up with two four-techs, two edges, and it's going to force you to kick out. And this is what I've been asking the Ravens to do for years, because what it does is it forces your offensive line, when you're making a protection call against a four-man rush, your center is either going to hard kick left or hard kick right, and it's going to create easy one-on-ones on whatever side the center doesn't go to. So as this snap goes, Tyler's going to go left, so that means we got, and you're even getting chip help here on Roger Rosengarten, but you get Daniel Faalele out here on an island in space, which is not where we want him. And exactly what you expect to happen against Mason Graham happens, where he just has no ability in space. Like, this is just him trying to lunge and use his length, and you're basically just getting a two-hand swipe against Daniel Faalele, where he's going to push and take that outside lane, and there's just so much area that he's going to bend in and force that pressure. So, I mean, Lamar gets the ball out, that's fine, but this constant game-to-game progression of not having clean pockets, it's just coming from these one-on-one losses, and that's where a lot of these came from Daniel Faalele. See him again here, where he's going to lose that inside move. We shouldn't be getting our face cross like this. My post step should never be dropping. Right here, you can see it. That post step drops behind the kick step, and we just need to be taking that hard inside step. So we should be stepping with that left foot as soon as he starts to cross the face. But again, look at the lack of explosiveness. He just can't do it, and so you're going to get almost a hold. Easily could have been called here. If 93 breaks through a little bit more, it probably is. But you see Andrews starting to open right here. This is where Lamar wants to throw that ball, but he's got 93, which is Shelby Harris. Sorry, I should be saying his name. Shelby Harris is bearing down on him. So Lamar has to get this ball out a little quicker than I think he wants to. And as he does, he just isn't able to place it where he wants to. So, I mean, Grant Delpit's sitting there too. It's always a little easier with those frames, but again, pressure coming up Lamar's face, constant lack of clean pockets becomes a real issue. Again, we got on Daniel Faalele's side, we're gonna shade Schlesinger over top of Linderbaum, and that's gonna force Daniel Faalele to get out in space. The Browns aren't dumb; they know where they want to get Faalele, and Mason Graham is going to take him in space, come around, and they just run a line game. So they're going to basically get him focusing. So once he takes, go back to the snap here. So he's got to take that hard kick step. So there's that kick step. He's out in space, and they're just going to run a line game where 96 is going to cross face. He's going to be the penetrate guy, and then 94 is going to be the looper. And so Daniel Faalele doesn't see this coming, and he just gets knocked right on his butt right there. See, he looks like he's tying his shoe. This has just been such a constant problem. So you're getting him out in space, and then you're able to do things like that in the line games. I thought Linderbaum and Voorhees handled that a lot better. Once again, see the alignment pre-snap. We got those two four-techs. The right side against Ronnie Stanley is a bit more of a 4-eye, but it's going to force these guys to get out in space. Daniel Faalele in space, and he just blocks air. Again, Mason Graham is going to take advantage. He's going to work upfield, and we're going to get him into that second kick step, which is exactly what he wants. And as soon as we get him into this position, you're going to bait that outside kick step. As soon as that lands, we're going to come back inside, and there's just that hand fighting. So he just pushes that inside right hand on the inside left arm of Daniel Faalele right there and creates that line. And so, I mean, other issue being that Myles Garrett's going to bend the corner. I'm okay with this because he does run him around the loop. Lamar had a short drop here. Ideally, what would be happening is we have the double team here. Voorhees is looking back to see if he needs to help Ronnie because that's Myles Garrett. That's what he's going to draw. But the issue is Lamar can't drop up clean in the pocket because 94 is going unblocked. So this is where, again, the integrity of the pocket becomes so important. Based on this edge rush right here, Lamar should be able to take that step up to deliver the ball, but he has to step up through that B gap where 96 is going to slip him, and then Myles Garrett gets that sack. So that wasn't quite a coverage sack, but again, you can see that's 3 sacks we've seen from Myles Garrett, where it's not like he was clean beating Ronnie Stanley on these sacks. 2 sprint outs, 1 backside penetration after, he comes back inside. So I'm not trying to mitigate Myles Garrett. He was still dominant in this game, had a ton of pressures, but it just more the impact of him versus Ronnie Stanley. It wasn't as bad as it might have seemed live, just with Myles Garrett constantly getting those sacks. Another one here against Faalele. He's lined up, Mason Graham's lined up as a 2-eye technique, so he's more inside here on this play, and he's going to take that inside step, and we see right here that left foot dropping behind, not what we want, but Daniel Faalele's footwork is so poor, and he's just going to come back outside, rip under, and Faalele just can't quite beat him. Ball comes out quick, there's no pressure, but you're just seeing him lose consistently. Back in that look where we got the 4-tech, so they're going to spread that. We're going to force Tyler Linderbaum to pick a side. Snap's going to come. Linderbaum's going to go left, so we're going to ask Daniel Faalele to get out in space, and he just gets beat with the spin move. Lamar, reads that. You also had Myles Garrett coming around the corner as well. But again, middle of the pocket. There is no pocket integrity for Lamar Jackson to step into. Huge issue in this game. And then another one here where, again, theme of the game, we got that 4, or I guess he's basically a 5 tech, and then we have a 1 tech on this side. So I'm expecting Tyler Linderbaum to slide right, but it's going to get Daniel Faalele out into space. Rasheen Ali is going to step up for the delayed blitz. I thought he laid a nice little whack, and then you just see, again, just Daniel Faalele needs to be pushing out a little bit more here with that step to create that space, but just ruins the integrity of the interior pocket. So, I mean, that was like 6-7 reps we just looked at from Daniel Faalele. And not like slow burn losses, like very quick wins for the defensive linemen, mostly Mason Graham. And that's really the problem. Like, Lamar Jackson has very little trust that he can step up in the pocket. And to be clear, I mean, Andrew Voorhees has had a ton of these issues as well, but particularly in this game, Voorhees wasn't too bad. They were sliding Linderbaum to his side, but that's the problem. It's wherever you're sliding Linderbaum to help one of your guards when you have these wide defensive tackle alignments, whoever's one-on-one on the backside from that slide is having issues. And so then we get into some of the offensive tackle issues. Here you're going to see both of them lose, and it just, again, you can see Ronnie gets that edge bent, Roger is as well, and so this is the problem, and this goes back to games like the Lions game where you're getting your edges bent so hard, and then you're trying to get Lamar to step up, but he can't because of the middle of the pocket. So again, ball comes out here, no negative outcome, but it's that constant feature that I think defenses see against the Ravens. It's like, if we can just speed rush the edges of the tackles, the interior is so poor that there's nowhere for Lamar to step up. And that's where they're running into so many problems. And they're just very rarely are we getting clean pockets consistently. Here we're going to see Ronnie Stanley really struggle with the inside move. So Myles Garrett is just going to come across his face. And Voorhees doesn't see it either. So they just run that stunt. And then Andrew Voorhees decides, hey, let's take a nap. Again, not just Daniel Faalele. I'm not trying to make it sound like that. I don't want this dichotomy that Voorhees can do no wrong, and it's just Faalele struggling. They both struggle. Just thought Faalele struggled a lot more in this game. But it's just that speed rush, not seeing it. They continue to kind of struggle with these opportunities where they're getting stunts run on them. That was 3rd and 12. It went for a gain of 10 to Isaiah Likely. I believe they ended up punting. I think it was their first drive. Ronnie Stanley here on the left side. And right there, you see this is exactly what Myles Garrett wants to be able to do. So we're going to line him up here basically as... No, I don't want that. What's that doing? We don't want... Cancel. Not now. Basically get him out into that kick step. Myles Garrett's just going to run through his face and kind of cave in that pocket. Again, this is what teams are wanting to do. And even if you look at the right side of Roger Rosengarten, I believe that's, forget the name of that 57, that defensive tackle, you're going to see Rosengarten get bowled. And you can see right here, Linderbaum's kind of getting walked back. So you can see how tight, look at the feet, how tight this pocket gets for Lamar Jackson. That is a tight pocket. We want this much deeper, and we're in the red zone. Lamar has to try and scramble. He tries to throw that ball to Mark Andrews, almost throws a pick. It's every game seems like a struggle where they just can't get these opportunities because of the lack of clean pockets. And then you see Roger Rosengarten on a play-action play here. He's going to step out to Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett's going to take that inside hand. If I have the play right, I'm pretty sure it's this play. He's going to take that inside hand right into Rodgers' inside arm and just toss him aside. And then he comes through. This is his 4th sack. So again, all 4 of his sacks, 2 on sprint outs, 1 on kind of what turned into almost a scramble drill where Lamar's trying to step up, and then the 4th one against Roger Rosengarten. So it doesn't exonerate Ronnie Stanley, but it made me feel less crappy about Myles Garrett having 4 sacks in this game. But, disappointing for Roger, really struggling with that power, but that's what Myles Garrett does to defensive tackles. See here, this is the interception. You're going to see Roger Rosengarten's going to step inside. He's going to end up single blocking 51. This really shows, I mean, I'm not just trying to crap on Daniel Faalele every chance I get. But pre-snap, can we just look at this pre-snap for 2 seconds? Pre-snap, you have a 3-tech on the opposite side. So unless that 3-tech is crossing face of Andrew Voorhees, you're probably not going to see him arrive. So right here, we should have a pretty simple double. This is it's a full line slide, so this whole line is sliding. Get my drawer out. This whole line sliding to the left, and then they're going to ask Derrick Henry to cut the backside. It's that banana Y2 spider slide protection right there. You see Derrick Henry hit that right there. And so Daniel Faalele, rather than stay on the double, goes left to block nobody, keeps that hand out for absolutely no reason, and Roger Rosengarten just gets walked back. And he gets walked back inside, which is where Daniel Faalele could have given help. They already have 3 blockers versus 2 over here. We really don't need 4 versus 2. And so instead, Roger gets driven back, and this ball goes off Roger's head into Carson Schweschinger's hands. So again, who's Daniel Faalele blocking here? Look at him. He's just blocking nothing. This happens every game. It's just exhausting. Lamar hits that off his head. I don't see why we're abandoning that double as quickly as we do there when we don't really need to. So overall, those are my thoughts on the pass protection. Lamar Jackson had some accuracy issues in this game. That's just a fact. It is what it is. But I also think the pass protection and the lack of pocket integrity is really weighing on this offense. It's really hard for Lamar to trust stepping up, and I think teams are seeing this week after week. We're going to bull rush their edges. We're going to push that edge, because if we can cave in the back of the pocket, there's nowhere for the quarterback to step up. And so we're going to continue to see this. Probably see the Jets do it with some of their speed rushers. They got Jermaine Johnson, Will McDonald, so I'm not expecting it to go away. Tackles need to be better. The interior needs to be better. To be completely honest, guys, all 5 need to be better. It's really not 1 or 2 guys. It's all 5 collectively need to be better. So let's see if we get it this week against the Jets. So as always, my friends, hit that like button if you like this video. Hit subscribe if you're new here. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. Peace out, everyone.